الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم صلى عليه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Jamaatul Muslimin, firstly we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who indeed has given us this opportunity to be present here. Without the power, the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this would never happen. So first we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we send the rood and salams upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Before I call the person to the front who's going to give us the fiqh class tonight inshallah, I just want to give you a quick and a brief, understanding of this person's personality. Not only him, we all know the family. Nevertheless, we went out once all together, Sheikh ASAD can vouch on this, and we were at the beach, enjoying ourselves. Lot of people and so on. But it came close to the time of Dhuhr Salah, But no one at the beach did anything, no one. So we as a group, I was still busy praying there for them. So as a group, we were there. Sheikh ASAD told Muhammad, Sheikh Muhammad, HAFITH Muhammad, to go up to a big rock, Camps by side. So Muhammad went up there and he called the adhan loudly, so beautiful. We were the only, I don't say, but we were the only group, a handful, probably 30 family members that were there, a handful, and Muhammad called the adhan. Then I think people got shy, and everyone came. And it was such a beautiful sight to see that, one adhan on the beach brought all, some people don't even look like they are Muslims, but surprisingly you see them coming in the rows. So Jamaatul Muslimin, if we accompany ourselves with friends like this or family members like this, then inshallah we will be on the straight path, inshallah. Ameen. So this is just a brief understanding about the person who is going to give us, and that is none other than Sheikh HAFITH Muhammad ASAD, who's going to give us the fiqh class tonight, and inshallah we will benefit tremendously from this class, inshallah. So without further ado, I call upon Sheikh Muhammad HAFITH Muhammad ASAD to commence with our first fiqh class, inshallah. Ameen. Falyatafaddal.
Is that one compulsory? This one? That one? No, that one. Yeah. I have my voice. I trust my voice. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي فاطر السماوات والأرض جاعل الملائكة رسلا أولي أجنحة مثنى وثلاث وربع يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء. ثم الصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected parents. As you guys know, that tonight we are sitting here for the fiqh class, and inshallah, as scheduled for tomorrow, it's going to be hadith class, and then on the Sunday in the morning we will be having the Quran class, inshallah. Before I go into my subject, there's just 3 notes that I would like to share with you guys as a reminder, because it's the first time we're going to have the class. I just wanted to ask, is it compulsory, this one? Because my voice, I think it can reach. من فضلك.
First one is that we're all sitting here for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
everyone is willing to gain more knowledge and to gain, the knowledge at the end of the day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come and ask him when he comes to his time at the end, say, yes, Allah, I have done this at my best. I was doing my duties in dunya and I was also pleasing you as much as I could. I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the effort we are doing, leaving our families behind and everyone. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it. Second thing is that we need to have a sincere niyyah. A niyyah that, when we start this, we have the niyyah, we say, look, I have started it. Inshallah, by the time that this course will be finished, I know I'll go home and do some changes. Me, I'm sitting in front of you. My teacher, whenever he used to taught us, he used to say, Muhammad, remember one thing. I'm the one that's teaching you. At the end of the day, when I go to another masjid or another halaqah or another gathering, I hear hadith that I never ever heard, and I'm 60 something years old. Which means ilm is not only what we hear from these sheikhs. Ilm, it's like an ocean. Zabad al-bahr, Which means whatever we gain, we need to put the first thing is that the key is niyyah. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّات. If you have the niyyah, things will work out, inshallah. Last is that when you come to this kind of gathering, there's a reward that you get other than other people around you. Rasulullah said in the hadith in Bukhari, he said, whoever joins in a gathering, right, that's you guys, beside that people, the one that come to visit someone or wait one of us just to maybe close the gate or maybe needs to lift with us, he will get the reward of us be sitting here. He will get the reward. Even Rasulullah, some ulama extended that, hadith, and said, look, the reward, it's almost 30 years of a halaqah sitting like this. Which means, sitting here is not only, you might feel a bit tired, you might, feel a little bit lazy, but you don't know, by your account in akhirah, it's just increasing up. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us those who we said in the Quran, الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. They hear the good and then act upon it, inshallah. My name is Muhammad Asad. Some people know me as Muhammad, HAFITH Muhammad. But if you could call me Muhammad, it would be very, very better, inshallah. There's a hadith of Rasulullah, he said, طَلَبَةُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ وَمُسْلِمَةٍ. Seeking knowledge, it's compulsory to every Muslim brother and every Muslim sister. That showed us that we are fulfilling one of the commandments or one of the pillars that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the Prophet ﷺ to tell his ummah. Which means, abshiru, it's a good news. You guys are doing something that, your Lord has put on for you guys. This subject, it's a fiqh. Fiqh, we understand, it has a lot of, meanings, a lot of understanding. Everyone, but, might translate that way. But the easiest form is the understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Ma'idah about wudu, ablution. But then he just prescribed it a little bit. Face, hands, legs. He didn't go deep. But now what do we do? Now the Sunnah ﷺ came and Rasulullah said, look, you go to the wudu, you make the dua before, say Bismillah, and then you wash your hands 3 times, goggle with your mouth, sneeze, etc. But the Quran have not said that. Rasulullah came and then he made it more clear that we can understand. Which means the simple way of understanding fiqh is the Sunnah, the Quran and the Sunnah, the understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah. Fiqh splits in two categories, right? There's called fiqh al-ibadah and fiqh al-mu'amalat. Fiqh al-ibadah, it's okay, let me just before I go. Fiqh, the meaning of fiqh is Islamic law, all right? Simply Islamic law. Which means fiqh al-mu'amala, fiqh al-ibadah is purification, wudu, cleanliness, tahara, then comes your salah, then comes your sawm, then comes your sadaqah, and then your hajj and umrah. Some ulama has added to it and says fiqh al-ibadah comes under its marriage, alright? And then that is fiqh al-ibadah. Then we get fiqh al-mu'amala. Fiqh al-mu'amala is such as your divorce, the inheritance, the what do you call Islamic finance, Islamic contracts, dealing businesses and things like that. For meanwhile now we will start with fiqh al-ibadah, where we will get the purification, the salah, the what do you call, what is it? The sadaqah, the giving, the fasting, etc. Inshallah. Then, after we leave that was the, what do you call, the two types of fiqh we get. Now we come a little bit down. We get what we call the structure of Islamic law. For example, if I may ask Uncle Ghulam, after you did your Salatul Fard Salah, what have you done after that? Sunnah Salah. The word I'm targeting is Sunnah. These words we use, Farad, Sunnah, what do you call makruh, haram. These words we use, it comes under fiqh. For example, if you do something, you'll ask, Sheikh, I've done that and that, is that haram? You expect the Sheikh to say, no, it's halal, it's haram, no, you have done it wrong, do istighfar, do that, do that. That comes under fiqh, the Islamic law. Which means, first you'll get what we call in Islam, halal. Right? Whatever, if we go, is this halal we eating, this, right? Even now I saw the other day a book called, the halal enjoyment, the good way to, enjoy it, not like, going somewhere wrong. The first one you get now is the halal, permissible, right? Then you get haram. Totally, whatever you hear, it's haram, it's haram. You can't get closer to it. Then you get makruh. Anyone know what's makruh? No problem, I don't want to point fingers, you can. Dislikes. Makruh, dislikes. Where does it come from, dislike? By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one, when He says that to Rasulullah, O Messenger, that is, I have disliked it. I'm going to give you an example, because now we have adults here, alhamdulillah. One of the things that Allah dislikes it, in between the relationship, two people, is, anyone can tell me? Two people, wife and husband, what is the thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dislikes it? Divorce. What else? I think is my aunties, can you hear me? MashaAllah. Divorce. Anyone can add? Things that are disliked in relationship. Afwan. Okay, I'll give you guys. The main thing, out of all that, the whole content of what you call relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pointed one point. He said, a husband and a wife were in there doing jama', an intercourse. The man is prohibited by disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's face when the man approach from the behind. Right? Divorce, you get the divorce, right? Then you get this what I just told you now. The worst between that two, it's man approaching his wife from the behind. Okay? That's a dislike. Then you get mubah. Mubah, permissible. Permissible. You will hear the Sheikh will tell you, Sheikh, I have done 18 rak'ahs, I did 12 rak'ahs of sunnah after asr, after isha. That's mubah. It's permissible. It's like not limited. They didn't give you a limitation. Alright? Then, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And then you get the main thing, what you call fard. Salahs we do, Sawm, fard, salah, fard, hajj, if you can. Alright? What else? Who can tell me what's fard that we do? It's fard, compulsory, obligable. Salah, siyam, zakat. If you reach your target, come again? Zakat, The reason I'm giving guys this is just what comes under fiqh, right? Just I'm trying to touch the main things of the fiqh, okay? And then now, the first topic of fiqh we're starting, inshallah, bidnillah kareem, tonight is purification, tahara. Tahara, it's going to be a very long topic because our religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made every ibadah, every worship time we're doing anything that we need to worship to Allah, there's a purification in front of it. Basic. Sunnah salahs, that's the simplest thing we can do. Sunnah salahs, you need to have purification. You need to have tahara. You need to be clean. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah At-Tawbah, when he was talking about what you call the munafiqeens, the ignorance, he said, don't allow them coming in the masjid until they are clean, until they are pure. Alright? In other surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Furqan, he says, verse 49, he says, make sure wherever you're performing your salah, it's clean. You know, which means our ibadah we are doing, first thing we need to be pure and clean. Now, purification, the thing that needs to make us clean is what? Water, water. I might squeeze some Afrikaans, don't be surprised, inshallah. You know, water. Now, water itself has categories. What kind of water can we use for tahara? Not any water, we just gush it and make a wudu and there we make the salah. No. There are specifics. Yes. Afwan?
Running water.
Yes, running water. There are specific water we can use. Imam Al-Shafi'i, rahmatullah alayhi, says the water comes in 3 categories. If the water does not change the taste, the smell, and the color, then the water is pure. If you don't find that 3, which means I have a bowl of water that I need to make a wudu or ghusl, whatever, I need to find these 3. I taste it, no, the water is clean, mashallah. The taste doesn't change. The color is pure. The smell, the same. Then that water qualifies to make ablution, or what do you call wudu or ghusl, whatever it is. There are other types of water that we can make ghusl. That we can do with purification. Such as rainwater. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah, what do you call, in Furqan. He says, we have sent rain down to pure you guys. We have sent rain from the sky to pure yourselves. Alright? That's number 1. The second thing is what we call Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, the heel water, yes. Pure, to clean. Sea water. There was an incident hadith where Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated by the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, a man came to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, we were on a journey. On our way to the journey, we were on a boat. Then we had a little bit of water. We were scared if we use that as a wudu, we might run thirst. Then we did was we kept the water just to drink and cook. Then we used the sea water. Is that salah that we have done, is it accepted? Rasulullah said yes. The water that you use from the ocean or the sea, it's clean because what's in it, it's halal for you. What's inside the ocean? Fish. All this type. He said it's clean. Even what's in it, it's clean. It's halal for you. Which means that shows us the hadith that sea water, it's permissible to make wudu with it. Alright? Then we get, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, then you get the Zamzam water. Ma'u Zamzam. Alright? Also an incident happened, the time where Rasulullah his last Hajjul Wada', Rasulullah called one of the companions and said, bring me the bucket of the water Zamzam inside. They said he drank it. After he was filled, then he made a wudu. And then Ali ibn Talib asked him, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have seen you doing this. Is it permissible? Rasulullah said, Ya Ali, remember one thing. Whatever I do in front of you guys, it's an action to know that whatever I did is permissible. It's right to do it. Whatever I stand away from it and say I did, you haven't seen me doing it, then you know it's not permissible. Okay? Which in that shows us that Zamzam water, because I remember the time I went for Umrah, we had a container. When we were on our way, we were stuck in Rwanda. And then we didn't have a place to make wudu. And then a brother pulled up a 5-liter Zamzam water that, they buy it from Haram. And then some people are like, no, we're not making, how do we know this water is clean? But, it comes in that Rasulullah made a wudu with it. And you remember, whatever you're drinking, whatever you're drinking, you're sure it's pure. Remember, you're not going to drink something that's dirty and something that's filthy or something that's going to harm you at the end of the day. Which is what you're going to drink is something clean and something that is benefiting you at the end of the day. That's the thing that Rasulullah was showing us. Look, I drank it. That shows you that it's clean. Then I made a wudu after it and it worked.
Chef, there's one question.
In Fadlik.
We had our borehole a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then it discovered, the water was like ASAD mentioned now the water must be pure, no color, whatever. Was that water made it possible to take wudu? We stopped the borehole now.
The thing is, you see, there's, as I was coming up, there's these things they call, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. They say, if 3 of these categories falls into that water, totally it doesn't reach to the point of making a wudu. For instance, borehole water, they have 2 types. It's either they filter it and then the color it's gone, you see the clean water, but when you taste it, it doesn't give you the proper taste that we know as a water. Number 1. Number 2, either it has a normal taste, but the color is not the same. I remember in, what is this place called, just plain. There was this sheikh that's been asked, they said, look, we are digging because of the municipality, the water is a bit expensive, the masjid can't pay it. We're trying to build up a borehole water, do you think that it's permissible, we can use it? The sheikh said, look, before you do this thing, check it out. If it comes to these 3 categories to Sheikh Yusuf, they told Sheikh Yusuf, if it comes to these 3 categories and it works, then it's permissible, you can use it. But if it's not, we can't. If I may ask as a ulam, the water, how was the color?
It was like brownish, like yellowish.
Was it similar to the water we drink?
No.
Unfortunately, it doesn't come under that category. It must have fulfilled all the 3 categories. If it fulfills it, alhamdulillah. You use it as to drink and to make purification.
So even if you're experiencing a drought,
Mm-hmm.
you're using that water for the people that can make salah, you can't still use it.
You see, the thing is, when it comes to, there's something called darura, and there's something called, without, problems. When it comes to darura, there's other masail fiqh, alright? I won't lie to you, I can't go deep today. But what I can tell you is, if we are in a state of, for example, even when they talk about the tayammum, they say tayammum, if you go in a salah, you made a tayammum, and you go in the salah, and you hear the water came, they tell you, cut the stop the salah and go make the tayammum. Understand? Which means the reason I'm coming to that point is that, if at the moment, I'm not sure, and I can't answer that question, but if it comes to that, obviously, if it comes to darura, things will change slightly. There won't be that, strictly rules. Everything will come more loose and easier.
Necessity.
Come again?
Necessity.
Yes.
By darura, you mean necessity.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Can I continue? Anyone have a question? Okay. Jazakallah khair. Alright. As I told you, the last thing was about the Ma'u Zamzam. Okay? Now, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Now we come to what we call wudu. Alright? I'm trying to keep this topic of purification as much as I can. I'll try to squeeze it, but we can't finish it tonight. I'll try whatever I can reach, inshallah, because our limited is 45 minutes for the class. And it's also a bit late also. We get to wudu. Alright? Wudu, ulama, they say that wudu is simply made for every believer that stands in front of his Lord to be clean. For example, even they say the time of Nabi Musa alayhi salam, when he used to approach the fire, to communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They used to, some ulama say he used to make something that, similar to wudu, but not the wudu that we do now. but that's similar to it. Some say no, he used to do ghusl every time he used to approach the fire. That gives us the information that every time that we stand in front of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to be clean. That's why ulama even say they take the extent, even if you have that small doubt in it. Look, it's Asr, I had dur, I had made wudu, but I never went to toilet. They say kill that doubt in it. Kill it. Just go make that wudu and go in your salah. Go into salah that you're 100% sure you're clean. Not that gambling. Sometimes you'll see someone will come stand by the door like, no, I know, I do have wudu. No, I don't have. Why do you need to stress all that way? Just go make the wudu. It doesn't even take 2 minutes. And come to salah without stress and without thinking. And also shaitan gets in there to make that waswas, to play with you in your salah. That you need wudu. Which means the moral of it is that wudu is made for purification, that when you come to it, you make wudu. Now, wudu, it has a procedure. Alright? Wudu, who can take wudu? That's number one. Who is it fard to take wudu? Alright? Ulama, they say first person has reached the age of puberty. Some ulama, they say the age of when they're teaching the kid, salah time, when you're forcing the kid to start salah, purification. Also, it gives you the time that, when you start teaching the kids, for example, 6-year-old, when you start, punishing him and telling him, hello, time to make salah now. If you start giving him that wudu and treating him, even if you don't treat him, if you go and take him and put him next to you and you start making the wudu, you will see at the end of the day, he's doing exact the same. Even if you're doing it wrong, he will do the wrong thing. Which means it takes step by step. Now that's the kids. The adults, there are two types. Someone that's like us, mashallah, who's, don't have no injuries, doesn't have no, any disabled thing. The people with injuries. That's what you call Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. Went once to the Prophet, he said, Ya Rasulullah, there's a guy where I came, he went for trading. He came back, he said, I went business when I saw a man, has a lot of, after the battles, too many wounds. Whenever the water touch, it's a kind of infection. What can that person do? So Sallallahu said, stay away from the wudu, make tayammum. Tayammum. That's also giving us that our deen is deen al-nasiha. Very polite, very soft. They don't want to kill this person. You want to do the act of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's always alternative ways that you can do. He said, make the tayammum, and that's it, finish. Because of there's water that will touch and will harm him at the end of the day. Which means there's two categories in wudu. People like us, mashallah, who's healthy, has no problem, skin is good, and that's number one. Number two, people that has injuries, problem, skin problem, not injuries, skin problem also. Also them, they have alternative ways of that is tayammum. Afwan? Yes. Where it's wrap up, yes. There's an incident that happened, Jazakallah khair, Mulana Zaid. There was an incident that happened in the battle of Tabuk. Alright? I think was it Tabuk? Oh yeah, I'm not sure. Afwan. Where, the fight and, things happened, and after that, it's time for Salah came, the battle finished, people took their mayyits and everything done. Rasulullah announced for Salah, they came in the Saf, a Sahabi went for wudu, he found out that, while in the battle, someone wrapped up for him, a kind of cloth or something. Then he had a fear, if I open here in the wound and I use the water. And then he also never heard about this issue of the tayammum. What he did was, he took the water and he made on top of it, just go through it, through, as a normal wudu, but on top of the cloth that he had. After a while, when they went back to Medina, he asked, Ya Rasulullah, I've done that. What is my salah has been accepted? Rasulullah said, look, you have tried your best. Because of doing that, it became a sunnah, a way that, people do it after, that it was permissible. That, After injury, it worked. Now, as I told you, wudu goes in two, and that is the people that's healthy and the people who has injuries. Then, when you come to wudu, wudu also has rules and regulation. How we say it, the limitation of the water you're using, how you're doing it, the performance. That also comes in a way also. Once Prophet ﷺ came past the masjid wudu section, he came past, he saw Sahabas chatting and making wudu. And the Rasul ﷺ said, it would be so nice if you guys could make dhikr while making wudu. Most of the masajids, I don't know, I think most of you also see it, that when we are out in the masjid, you will see two friends, relatives, colleagues, people never saw each other, they will see in the wudu khana, especially in the Fridays, you see they're having a chat. What comes there? First, Iblis comes in there, involved. Second, there's water that's running, that's wasting. Third, the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have forgotten it, you are under inside the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which means most of the companions also, they say, at least the best thing is, while you're doing it, if you could ask for the forgiveness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say astaghfirullah, subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Use the dhikr, in turn, change that, chat. Even some ulama say, even if you tell your brother, can you just finish the wudu? Then we can talk afterwards. I say it's sadaqatun jariyah. It's a charity that will keep you for after even you die. Which means, first thing is, you need to have, when you're in the wudu section, quiet, you limit the water. One day I saw a video, mashallah, I was ashamed of myself. I opened the tap and I just make a brother, it's like in a kind of a rural area, a 1.5 bottle, I estimated, 1.5 bottle of water he used for wudu. He says that he used it for 2 wudus, 2 times wudu. And subhanAllah, I think myself, it's above 5 liters maybe. If I have to go to wudu now, take time and this, it takes time. The limitation, ulamas, they give a lot of measurement and that, but the best way is that your measure. If you can keep that tap like a little bit. The main thing is your body, just the water to touch your body. Not like you need to shower. Just to touch the body, not like a water running through. Once I saw that the masjid taps were moved out. And then people complaining. I was like, the best thing was if our masjid would have, that what we used to have these days outside, the bucket, where you press, you get the water in, you close, and you do that. It saves a lot. And I think, the masjid would have less bills at the end of the day. But now, we have these fancy masjids, warm water, and people just put their feet and, like if they're at their houses. That's why if you look at it very clear, it do savings, what do we call savings? If the Rasul said, use less water, that time they were using well water, borehole water. Today, come to today's time. We, the municipality is going to come and say, look, you used over 7,000, 8,000 rand water. And the Rasul, when was it? 1,400 years back. That shows us that our deen, it's limiting everything that, what do we call fasad, unnecessary stuff, to get rid of it. That's the main thing important, and get to it, inshallah. That's the thing. Third, it comes when you're in wudu, there's a lot of dhikr and du'as that you utter, supplication. Imam al-Shafi'i, the Imam, our Imam, I think most of Muslims are Shafi'i. Imam al-Shafi'i says, he said, from my opinion, on his opinion, I'm not saying what he heard from the Rasul. The opinion, he says that every act of wudu that you're doing, from the hands, there's a dua you read, mouth, nose, face, arms, there's a certain dua you make. He says, my own opinion, this dua, I think you might get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your, your act of, your good deed, That's a good deed you're doing. Not only you're doing it for salah, it's a good deed also. It's a part of your worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some ulamas, like the other madahibs, they say, no. No, it's not compulsory. You say Bismillah, you make your wudu, and then you finish at the end of the last dua that we usually make. Which means our Imam Shafi'i gives us a dua. I think I'll try to type it out. If they have, I'll try to give everyone, and I'll try to read it after you guys, inshallah. I think most of us, we know about it. The du'as that we read every part that we're washing. Then comes something that we call niyyah. Alright? As I speak to you guys earlier about niyyah, every action comes in a niyyah. Imam Shafi'i also says there's two parts of niyyah. Alright? One part is the part where you don't utter nothing from the heart. You accept it from the heart and you let it go. For example, when you're on your way to the masjid to do Isha, you never said, I'm going to Isha, I'm going to the masjid, then I'm going to make Isha, then I'm going to make my sunnah. No. Automatically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this thing in your body, it just automatically gives you, you're going to the masjid, that's your niyyah already. Alright? But Imam Shafi'i exceeded, he adds more. He said, no, making a niyyah verbally, it's also good. But that is his own opinion. It's not an utter from the Rasul nor from his companions. It's from the Imam Shafi'i, whoever it's under the pillar or what I can call the umbrella of the Imam Shafi'i or the Madhab Shafi'i. After you utter or you make that niyyah, you perform the wudu. Where do we start from the wudu? Hands? Anywhere before the hands? Jazakallah khair. Yes, first is we make the niyyah, then we start with the hand. Before we start the hand, there's a beautiful saying to say, and that is Bismillah. One day, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive, a brother met me here by this masjid. I was very young. I made wudu, I left. He met me at Maghrib. I made wudu, I left. Came Isha, he stopped me when I came. He said, look. He said, all that 3 salahs with me and you met in the wudu khana that time. He said, you just came in here like a mad person, just in and boop, 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 out. He said, let me tell you something. Very simple. He said, a long dua is a long story. Start saying Bismillah. He said, the time you say Bismillah, you already entered your ibadah. That brother, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. I heard he passed away in the COVID. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him and grant him Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la. I will never forget. There's also Sadaqatul Jariyah that he left behind. And I hope I also, spread it out until my last breath comes, inshallah. Bismillah. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What higher can you say other than that? Very simple, very easy. Which means after you enter niyyah, you say Bismillah. You start with your hands. Imam Shafi'i, I'm trying to repeat every time Imam Shafi'i because we are Shafi'is. Imam Shafi'i says 3 times of washing your hands. I'm going to give you some examples, Maf, I think, if you don't mind. He says when you're washing it, try the water passes where we, hand closes the way the rest, right? He said pass it as much as you can, all right, where the water can go a little bit down. You're washing it very firmly, very firm, and it gets down in between the fingers. All that 3 times you're doing it. Then comes your mouth. Afwan. By the mouth, same thing. 1, get it in 1 time, goggle it. Imam Shafi'i says one of the sunnahs of Rasulullah is to do miswak, brushing the teeth. Sometimes we might not have, we in the masjid, we might not come with a miswak. He prefers the finger, your tashahhud finger, to put in, try as much as you can, just try to get back to the teeth and gush it out. When they say gushing it out, there's a form of respect. Don't gush it out like, disrespectful. There's people around you. He says gush it out as that the person next to you does not hear the water, nor he sees that, that that mouth, what comes out of your mouth, that dirt, whatever follows after. In a respectful form, try to go a little bit down and spit it out. The second thing also Imam Shafi'i says that, he says, when you're trying to get a water into your mouth, let it not be a water that, you can, it can cut, it can kill the thirst. It must be less than that. Something little. Try to minimize it as much as you can. Not like a full, when you get it in, boom, 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 boom. No. Try something that, can just clean up what's left behind while you are eating and can clean up. That's one. That's 1, 2, 3. All right. He also says two things that's permissible. Rasulullah once followed the water with the nose. Once they say that he only did it with the mouth alone, and then he did the nose separately. That's also two narrations. It's it's your choice. It's not that they say you have to follow this way only. Rasulullah do both ways. One is to take the water into the mouth, it's a little bit left into the nose. Sniff it, and then gush it out with your left hand out. All right. The other part is where he put the mouth only, he finished the water with the mouth, finished it, he took the nose, he sneezed it, he sniffed it and he sneezed it back. That's another riwayah or other narration. Then after that we come to the face, to the wajh. The wajh, they say both arms, right? 2 arms, but not much. We're trying to still minimize water, right? Water, they say you started, now it must reach where your hair ends. Okay? I remember, there was one day brother I saw, he took the water, he did this, he started from the head, middle of the head came down. No, it has to be where your hair, the trim ends. It starts from there, right? Comes through, men's, they say, squeeze it in the beard, put it in, come down until here, I don't know what they call it in English, afwan, might help me. Under your, your beard. Try. The second one, similar. Also, it have to reach where it begins your ear, right? The water have to reach here, through, down. Okay? Sometimes you will see brothers make wudu, and then just this part. You forget this part. This part also includes the face, right? It have to reach the ear section to the other side. Also, to my sisters and my aunties, when you're making it wudu, try as much as you can. Sometimes you will see, we're not the same, that your hair is a little bit near. If you know that your hair is, it grew earlier, like how, what is this Sahabi's name? Abu Qadafa. He said, before the time of Rasulullah, I never had, this long hair, right? He said, after a while, I let it go. After I heard, it's also kind of the sunnah of Rasulullah, let it go the hair. He said, my hair started growing, I never cut it, and then it came like a little bit closer. And then he asked Ibn Abbas. Abbas said, look, where was your hair before? He said, there. He said, reach there, where was it? Start from there, where you knew it before. All right? Which means I would prefer with my aunties and sisters, if you know your hair, grew up a little bit more forward, just, guess a little bit. It's not compulsory, but just to, get that, that wiswas and that doubt out of it, inshallah. As I said, from there, down to the ears, down, that's it, 3 times. Then you get your arms. Arms, similar. You reach, till by below the elbow. Okay? You go down. That's the point. This point I need to clear with you guys. When you go down, alright, you'll see people go down and they get another water here. No. The same water you used when your hand was wet. You go down and then come back up till where your rest starts from. Okay? And then Imam Shafi'i says, try at least if you can rub it twice. Just to make sure that there's no dry spots. Just make sure the first hand. You make sure, okay, alhamdulillah, now it's done. Second hand goes in, all right? 3 times, and then 3 times on the left-hand side. Then comes to the head and the hair and the ears. Here, you will see some people, they will take the water and do like this, I don't know if you saw. They do that, and then they do that, and they clean. No. And then, from the beginning, as I said, where you ended the face, right down, come back with the thumb the back, right, clean the back side, into the first ear, the ears, nicely clean. Once, not 3 times. You hear ulama, they said, the 3 times position is da'if. It's not accurate. It's not a hadith that, that the Rasulullah has done 3 times. No. It's only 1 time. Okay? And then you get your foot, you wash it, right? You come through till to the ankle. Above the ankle, right? So, Imam Shafi'i says, little bit like a kind, not 1 meter, but like, this type. Above the ankle. Reach it up, little bit upper, the water gets, and then go down. He says the fingers of your toes and your fingers, make sure it goes through. Alright, the water goes through. Not washing. Sometimes you will see the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will see this, your small finger and the other one is connected. Try as much as you can where you see there's a gap, fill the water in. Try to put the water in through that it covers up. Okay? The book I was using, Fiqh al-Ibadah, the Sheikh ends up when he finishes the wudu, he says, it's similar to if you made almost half a bath. You cleaned your ears, mashallah. Most of the time you will see, after you do your wudu and you leave the masjid, you feel very fresh. You feel calm. After you came from the heat and work, you just feel that coolness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us with us. Sometimes, I remember a brother once came to a community and said, look, I want to become a Muslim. They asked him, look, what made you become a Muslim? He said, no. He said, my friend that we work together, does wudu every time. He said, now the boss sometimes comes to work, he hides from the boss. The boss don't want him to make wudu because the place is a very busy place. He said, I always cover him up. Right? I try to keep him a little bit, private, and he does his wudu. He said, I used to see it every time. Then he said, something in my heart just told me, look, try to do it also yourself. He said, whenever he finished, I tell him, look, I'm going to do it my turn. He used to say, look, what are you going to do? Are you going to pray? He said, no, I'm just going to do it, and then, we're done. Okay. He said, whenever I do wudu after him, he said, I just feel like coolness, like if I came from a bath. He said, I feel fresh. I feel like, I'm very energy to do my job again. He said, then I told him, look, there's something in this thing. I don't know what is it, but I need to find out. When they gave him the hadith of Rasulullah and they told him the ayahs, he could not believe. Tears came to his eyes. He said, look, that's why I came to accept Islam. You see, our deen is so nasiha that even other people, when they do some of the acts that we are doing, don't go far. There was one teacher in the university, tried to fast. He's a non-Muslim. He tried to fast. He started fasting. He ended up coming to our office and embracing Islam. He said that fast, when he checked it up, he found out he's a doctor, right, in medical. He said he found out that all these things that that the fast that it keeps from your body. They say he found out that he did a research on a Thursday and a Monday fast. The sunnah of Rasulullah. He used to fast Monday and Thursdays. He says it cleans it up. That weekend, whatever you ate, all that. Monday when you fast, he says it cleans it up. Your belly, your system is back to normal. He was surprised. The time of Rasulullah, there was no weekends. There was no Saturday and Sunday where we eat whatever we want. Yeah, but he tried it out. That's why Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. This is not from a desire that the Prophet just says it. It's a wahy. Which means Allah knows what your body needs. That's why He gave this information that, look, this is the way you have to live, man. I know I created you. This is the way you have to live. That's why the wudu, it's a kind of a refreshment. How we can say it? I can say it. It's a refreshment. After your day, 5 times if you make a wudu. Rasulullah, he said, is someone that cleaned his body. Someone that has no sins. Person that makes 5 times wudu. Imagine the people that makes wudu even for sunnahs. Imagine. SubhanAllah. It gains him, more. And it also have ajr. That's why Rasulullah said, day of Qiyamah, the people of, that makes wudu every time, they will have like nur on their body. They will, all the parts that they used to make the wudu, it will be lightning. Until the ones that never used to make wudu will ask, hey, why are you guys having like, lights? And they said, no, we used to make wudu while we were in the dunya. Which means, inshallah, that small things that, you do, try to add your wudu, even though, you want to recite your Quran, you want to do sunnah salahs, you want to do your farad salah. Try to kill shaitan. Shaitan will do whatever it takes to put wiswas in your ibadah. Not only salah, any act of wiswas, any act of worship that you want to do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will do it. I will end up with a joke. They said, once a brother said, wallahi, if he was working in a shop, in a calling center, he said, there's a sisters, that are just, un-Islamic form, all right, or non-Muslim sisters. He said, I swear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today I will never look at a sister. If I look, I'll make 2 rak'ahs of sunnah. What happened was, he looked at first. When he came to work, there was a sister touched his eye. Subhanallah. Went to salah, make 2 rak'ahs. Came back again. Another one, there he saw. The third time now, he tried to lift up. Shaitan told him, hey, you're going to make salah. Keep down, don't look up. What is the shaitan running away from you? Just making 2 rak'ahs salah. 2 rak'ahs of salah. He's trying to kill it just to get rid of your ibadah. That's why he said, oh Allah, I promise you that I will misguide whoever worshipping you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, replied to him and said, whoever I guide, no one can misguide him. If Allah put you on that way, that through line to get to Jannah, no one. That's similar to what Allah rizqi wrote for you, no one can stop. Similar to it. Which means, let's try at most best what ibadah we are doing, any form of ibadah. Let's be clean. Let's be, very, when we stand in front of our Lord, let's be smart. Right? I can use that form. Let's be smart. Let's be, for example, I'll give you I remember there was our graduation at the Iqra Institute in Cravenby. The teacher said, look, the 28th of December, we will have our graduation, inshallah. Everyone wear a beautiful thobe, but it must be white. Then we'll have that, jubba on top of it for the graduation. Everyone came, before me. And when we came, there was no jubbas. I wondering, what's wrong? Then he just told us, look guys, the jubba, obvious, the forms of, the hiring, they don't work. But mashallah, you guys look beautiful. He said, I don't see you guys like this when you perform in salah. I don't see you guys wearing this perform, you smell that you guys have, the attar and, the cleanliness that you look like this. For the last 4 years that I was teaching you as a teacher, I never see you guys when you're in salah. I see a guy there with a 3/4, one with, the kind of a dirty thobe. He said, try whenever you stand in front of your Lord, you are the most beautiful person in this earth. I'm not saying go put on makeup, but I'm saying be clean. Show to your Lord that, oh Allah, I respect no one other than you. I'm here. Also today you will expect, when you're applying something, expect, to treat a person very nice, to be beautiful, to smell nice. That when the person you come, the environment change, man, But, when you're already down, even one of the things that, one of the things that they say when you're reciting Quran, before you recite Quran, try to do miswak. Because they say the malaika will come down, he will come closer until he enters your mouth. Until he enters to your mouth. Why? Because that words are coming out. The Quran that you're reciting, the loves that you have for the Quran, he comes closer to your mouth. That's why it comes to the end, it's purification. Ask Allah subhanahu